Hey everyone, John here, and this is the first Facebook Live that we've done since January the 8th, and just a little bit has changed since then. I was trying to think of a catchy title for today's Facebook Live, and I really don't have one other than asking you guys a question. And I'd like to know specifically what you're thankful for, because there's obviously so much going on in the world, and there's a lot of things to definitely be concerned about. But if you just want to type in what you're thankful for, that would be a great way to start this. I've always tried to be an optimist in life, and I do feel that we do need to be very, very careful and to take things seriously. And I do pray that all of you are in good health and that your families are in good health. I am thankful actually that I'm here home with my wife. Give you a little bit of a rundown over the last 3 weeks or so. We finished up our virtual workshop for digitizing, and if you did attend that, give us a little, thumbs up or a little heart or something like that. But we finished that off, and the world just seemed to be going smoothly. And then we went to the Sewing and Stitchery Expo in Puyallup, and that was, I guess, one of the first areas where there was a hot spot or an outbreak for the virus. And we were obviously concerned about that, but thankful to get on a plane the Monday after the show and to get home. And then within 2 or 3 days, both James and I, my son and I, came down with flu-like symptoms. James was, I guess, faring worse than I was. But immediately I did call the next event that we were scheduled to go to, which was Atlanta. And I told them that we unfortunately weren't going to make it to that event because we weren't, feeling well. We had not been tested, and I'm very thankful to God that we, did not contract the coronavirus. We just had a flu for a short period of time, but I did feel that it was my responsibility for our sake, but just as much for the sake of the people at the show, that we should be responsible and not attend. And then lo and behold, obviously that show got canceled a day early, and the subsequent shows are also canceled for the foreseeable future. So I do want to apologize if any of you did go to Atlanta and I wasn't there. I actually was sick when we got home, and I didn't want to travel and potentially affect anybody. The reason why I'm really thankful is because I did get to see my mother and my grandmother in Toronto, and I got out just in the nick of time to get home to my wife. And that's what I'm thankful about, because I couldn't imagine being stuck. I mean, borders are closing, flights are being delayed. It just seems like a crazy, crazy time. So did we have anything that people are thankful for, Jennifer?
Yes, people thankful for families. Somebody said that they had about a vertigo. Our son was helpful. Again, just having a healthy family.
Having healthy families, and I think that is the key. I mean, we all have a need to be concerned, and I know we're all going to have issues, whether they be physical or financial. But the most important thing is that we have loved ones and family. And my wife and I will be praying for all of you guys as well, all of our customers, anybody we interact with. So I also find that it's kind of not ironic, but I guess maybe a little bit divine that we were prepping up for this whole virtual workshop thing. And unfortunately, this happened because now we're in a position where we can provide education to people and do it out of the comfort of our homes, especially while we're in a situation where we're locked down. And Jennifer and I have actually joked about this. We have two main concerns. Number one, after 2 weeks of being in the same house together, which one of us will survive? And I put my money on her, to be honest. She's laughing in the corner. But her biggest concern is that we're going to run out of coffee. And that's when things are going to get really, really bad. So, okay. Anyways, just wanted to fill you guys in on a couple of quick little things. I wanted to let you know that we just sent out an email where we are announcing our first virtual webinar. And we are all set up for this. So we do have our webinar in place, and I'm going to be doing a webinar called Fun Effects Embroidery, and it's one that I've done for many, many years. We're revamping it a little bit, and it is a workshop where we go over all the different fun effects embroidery techniques, like 3D embroidery. We do mylar, we do lace, we do in the hoop projects. We cover cut work designs, applique designs, how to do them properly. So we're going to be doing that one live. And as a bonus, I'm also going to throw in our embroidery basics seminar, which we have started to post some of those basics on our YouTube channel, but I'll be doing that live. The great thing about the webinars is they are actually done on a professional platform. People can raise their hand, ask questions, and we're estimating that this is going to be approximately 3 hours long, so we're going to have an intermission in there. And we are trying to make it incredibly reasonably priced given the circumstances. So you guys can join us if you want, and it'll be a great time. We are going to put, if you can't make it to the actual live webinar, we're going to put the webinar in your classroom for 1 week after it, so you can catch it afterwards, or watch it a couple times. And there are 7 designs with all of the tutorials for many of the techniques that I'm actually showing. So the idea is we'll do the webinar together, I'll show you how to do things, and then you'll have the designs and tutorials so that you can play on your machine. And I'm guessing most of you have a fabric stash, and most of you have a lot of stabilizers and threads on hand, so you should be all set to try most of the techniques that we're going to run through. So you should be getting an email on that. If not, check out our Facebook group, and it's linked there as well. But we're excited about that, and that is going to happen actually on April the 4th. That's Saturday, April the 4th. It's actually the Saturday when the Cleveland show would have happened. And we are doing it in 2 different times, at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard. I think that Jesse and James are trying to figure out if we can put a world clock on there. But we did it that way because that way, if you are in Europe, you can catch it at a reasonable time in Europe. And if you are in Australia, New Zealand, you can catch it also at a reasonable time there as well. So that is scheduled, and we are looking forward to it happening. I will mention that our provider that we do stream on, we do have a limited spot or availability for seats within the webinar. So if you're interested, sign up, because I'm guessing we might actually run out of space on that. We almost ran out of space on the digitizing workshop that we did. I know we have a wait list for the virtual Digitizer's Dream workshop. We will be announcing a date very, very shortly on that. So if you did have a good time at that, tell your friends, because we will be repeating that one again as well. So that's the announcement. Now, I did promise that I was going to create a design. I'm not going to actually digitize a design, but I'm going to create a design for you guys live, and I'm going to show you what it was. I'm getting a look over here from my wife. Are we okay?
Good.
Okay.
Everybody hear you okay?
Yeah, can everybody hear me all right?
Winds.
Okay. We do still have the winds here this time of year. If you were part of our virtual Digitizers workshop, you heard the howling going around. It's because we have the Papagayo winds this time of year, and they have not slowed down. So that is the wind, in case you're wondering. But I am going to show you the sample of the design that I'm going to lay out for you. The cool thing is this is actually done with no digitizing whatsoever. We're going to be using the fonts within the Hatch software, and the fonts that we're going to be using are a couple of the specialty fonts. For some of you who don't know, we are the largest font developer in the world for ESA fonts, and I've kind of created or invented things called flexi fills and glyphs and different things. So we're going to use those, piece them together, and make a really cool design. But we're going to do it so that it's going to run specifically well on t-shirts. And that means that it's going to be very low density, and it's not going to pucker if you use the right stabilizer. If you want to know the right stabilizer, we will be going over that in the Embroidery Basics class webinar that we're going to be doing. But when we're done, it's going to actually end up looking like this. And I know that there's been some people who have done this as well, but this is Keep Calm and Embroider On. And it has the crown, and it has a very nice loose fill with a bean stitch going around it to define it. So And I guarantee that the way we're going to set this up, even though it is a 200 by 200 frame, so it's a pretty big design for the front of a t-shirt, it'll actually look great when it sews out, but all the registration is going to be 100% perfect because we're going to break it apart and put a little bit of theory behind doing this as well. So I'm going to go over to my software, and this is where we are going to hopefully see that things are going to participate for me. If you guys can actually see the screen, give me a thumbs up, and it should be coming up in just a second. So Jennifer, let me know if we do see that. Is there a screen on there?
Yes.
Yes, there is. Okay, so we are in business now.
Bingo.
Yay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to first off put some guidelines in. I have a new window open, and I usually, when I'm doing layouts for designs, I want to put a couple of little guidelines, and I'm marking my guidelines on the 0, 0 position. Then if I also want to get an idea of the size of the design, if I know I want it to fit within a 200 by 200 hoop, I can basically put little lines about 100 off on the vertical and 100 off on the horizontal. So basically what I've done is I've created a square where I know I want the design to sit, but I've also given it a center point so that I can make sure that everything is going to be lined up perfectly. Now I'm hoping some of these windows will come up because I had to set this up in the software. If they don't, I will explain what I'm doing as I move forward. But I've hit my lettering within the software, and I'm going to drop down my lettering, and it will take me a little while to go through these fonts because I have like almost 900 fonts loaded in to my software program. I probably have just a few more than most of you. The reason why is we developed the fonts, but I'm going to go to the fonts at the very bottom of the list that actually have this Z or ZZ, a capital Z and a lowercase z, and I'm going to go up until I find one called crowns. Now here's where what we've done is we've taken glyphs or images and we've assigned keystrokes to them. So if I click on my crown elements so that I have it listed as a crown, and then I go to the insert character, I can see all the crowns that are available within this font pack. So even though it is A, B, C, D, they're actually assigned as different glyphs or objects. So I'm going to hit enter, and I can see that my crown actually has come in, and I can resize this, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger here. I'm going to put it up top, and if I hit the T for true view, and actually let's make this darker so I know that you'll be able to see it on the screen. So I'm going to make this a purple color, or actually maybe I'll make it blue. So I can see this on screen, and I can see that that might be the approximate size that I want to make it. Now all of this is actually already digitized. I digitize these designs, I assign them to a keystroke, and they are object-based, which means that I can make it really big or I can make it smaller, and it's still going to keep the integrity of the actual design. So once I have that kind of in place, and I'll use those guidelines that I put down first to put it there, now I know that I can click off that object and I can go to the next font and I'll put in some more letters. So now I'm going to go back up to my font list, and I'm going to go right up to the top, and I'm going to choose a block font. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose actually a font that is what I like to call a flexi fill. It's not a font that changes direction, and I'm going to make this about 20 millimeters in height. It's actually a font that is going to give me straight lines. It's actually only running in one direction. Now if I spell this correctly, and I'll drop it in different lines, I'm just going to do, and I want all capitals as well. So let's just turn on my caps, and I'm going to go keep calm, and then I'll do another line, and here we go, embroider, and then on. So now I have all of my pieces in place, and I can make this a little bit bigger and adjust it so that it's going to be center onto the object. And if I look at that, that's pretty good right there. At this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that entire block, which is actually objects, and I'm going to break it apart. And when I break it apart, I can see that it's now broken it into separate lines. And the reason why I did that is I wanted to make sure that I make this "and" a little bit smaller than the rest of the letters. So and I can now position that so it's going to be directly in the center like that. And I could go in and adjust the spacing on all of these as well if I want to, but I'm not going to. I'm going to keep this simple so that we can move a little quickly through this. Now if I go to colors, it's going to give me one solid block of colors, and I'm going to take this right now and I'm going to duplicate it. So when I go basically to my objects again, I can see that all of these are highlighted, and if I change this to another color, and I'll make this purple, I now actually have 3 different groups of colors. Now the reason why I did that is I'm going to take that last object, which still can be broken apart, and if I hit break apart one more time, it's going to break all those objects apart. If I hit it again, I can break it apart even more, and I'm going to continue to break that apart until I do not see it break apart anymore. I actually had to do it 4 or 5 times. The reason why I did that is now that it's broken apart, I can actually change it from a satin stitch to just an outline stitch, and I can do, let's say, a back stitch, which is going to give me a nice bold border around that object. Then I'm going to do the same thing with these objects here. I'm going to break them apart multiple times, so I'll just continue to grab that object, break it apart as many times as I can, and once it's broken apart completely, then I can change that actually to a tatami fill. And this is where I can come in and I can start playing with the densities. I'm going to do 1.2 millimeters. I'm going to have it travel on edge, and I'm going to get rid of all the underlay in the design. So now if I look really closely at this, I actually have a nice loose fill with a really cool outline around it. Now, when I've looked at this before, I've seen that all of these designs are usually one color. They're all white. And if I really wanted this to line up properly, I would have to make some compensations, because if it does all of the fill stitches and then does the outlines, they might not register when I'm done. So what I need to do is I need to go into all of these objects, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to move them. So if I go here to the first word, and I know that here is the word keep, and I'll just do this one so that you get the idea. I won't go through editing this entire design, but I've taken the outlines of keep and I'm going to move them up in the order so that they actually fall underneath of each of those objects. So there I have keep, and I have that embroidered is spelt wrong.
Are you trying to do another
yes,
lesson
okay.
like the
Yep,
virtual
okay.
group?
My spelling is not my strong suit, okay? This design will be online afterwards. Actually, just a little side note here, and I'm going to go to full screen for 1 second. Let's go right over here, if I can. Am I back on screen now? I have to go here and see it. Yes, okay. Actually, here we go. One little side note before I go any further. My mother told me that if it weren't for Dennis the Menace comic books, I would be illiterate at this point. I rely so much on spell check and everything else. Everybody proofs everything I do, and this is proof in case we actually had a spelling error in our virtual dream workshop, Digitizer's workshop, and I've spelt embroider wrong, which that is awesome. I'm going to leave it as is because I've already done this design. I'm going to go back to the software. Is my face a little red, Jennifer? Okay, sorry. Okay, so let's go back to the software here, and there we go, and I'm going to come in. Let's just ignore the embroider, okay, or embroider, and we're going to worry about the keep. So as I was saying, I've moved all of these objects together so that I have the, and let's turn off the true view, I have the K, and then I'm going to move the outline up in order of the K. Then I'm going to go to the E, and I'll move the order up to the E. Then I'm going to do the next E, move it up, and then the last two objects that are here, I'm going to grab both of those and leave them where they are. So now what this is doing is it's actually doing an outline with a border around it. Now here, what I would do is I would grab these colors now, and if I go to my colors here and I grab all of these little pieces, so I'm just going to go to the P and the E's and the K, and I'm going to grab all of those and I'm going to make them all one color. So now you're going to see that on screen it turned into one color. And if I turn the true view on, now I can see that it's all one color. Now I'm not done yet. There's one other little thing that I have to do, and I'm going to zoom into this keep so that you can see what's happening here, and I'm going to turn off the true view, and you're going to see that I have all these little triangles and circles in the design. If I turn off my stitches, let's turn off the stitches for a second, you can see within the shapes that I have little triangles and circles. Those are trims and jumps. And if you've taken any of my education, you know that I try to avoid trims and jumps like the plague, if I at all can. So I'm going to select the first K, I'm going to hit the H key, which shows me where the design starts and where it stops. That's the object. Then if I go to the next object, I can see that I need to move my start here, and that will get rid of the trim. Then if I go to the E, I look at the start and stop. And then I go to the outline, and I can see that I want to make sure that I start here because that's where the last object ended. And I'll just continue through each of the letters looking for starts and stops, and then basically going and adjusting each of the starts and stops of the next object that's going to coincide with it. Now here I will need to have one trim because there is a border around the outside of the P and then on the inside of the P. So there's my stop position there. If I want to continue on, I just move this one here, and I can probably leave this one here. There's actually a trim going from the outside to the inside, and when this stitches out now, there will be minimal trims between all of the objects. I know I need to trim between these letters because they're further apart, but I don't need to have trims and jumps in this entire design because that won't run well on the machine. Now, the other thing that I would do is I would look at this object. So let's just escape. I'm going to turn off the true view and I'm going to grab this crown. And if I look at the density on the crown, I can see that it's auto density. And auto density basically means that whatever the fabric type I've chosen, which is set at pure cotton, it's going to use an appropriate density for that fabric type. But I'm going to sort of do a manual spacing on that because it's set at 0.36 for cotton. I'm going to actually change this to 0.6 and hit enter. And when we do, actually, let's just zoom in for a second. 0.6, enter. And if I look now, and I'm going to zoom in here, you can see that this is after I've changed the density, and this was before. You can see how much it's loosened up. And I want to make sure that I do that because I want to basically make sure that it's going to run on a t-shirt. And t-shirts have a tendency to pucker more than most material types do. So to finish this whole design, it would take me a few more minutes, but here is the finished one here, and you can see that it is spelt correctly. There is a B in there. And I've adjusted all the density, I've adjusted all of the spacing, so when this does actually sew out and you watch it within the player, there is only one color, so you'd sew this as all white, and it gives nice low density for the crown, and then it does all the outlines for each of these in unison, and you will actually have a design with as few trims as possible. But the moral of the story is you are going to also make sure that you have a design that when you sew it out, you're actually going to get perfect registration. If you look at that, all of those running stitch outlines are perfectly around that nice loose fill. So I think there's like 15,400 stitches in this design, which is not a lot. Actually, I could check that, but I won't. You can check it yourself because I actually did this earlier this morning, ran the sample, And we did the conversions, and I believe if James wants to confirm, we actually have this zip file on our Facebook group. Can you confirm with James, Jennifer?
Can, yeah.
Okay,
See what it
so
says.
he'll see it, but I'll tell you exactly where to go, where you can download these files. And this will hopefully bring a little bit of joy, because you can run your machine, run this. I'd love to see some pictures. If you do actually get a chance to download this, and if you can sew it on a t-shirt, and if you just take a picture of it with it on, or just by itself, or give it to an embroidery friend. Obviously you don't want close contact with them, but you can put it in a bag and put it on your door handle to get them to pick it up. I don't know exactly how it's going to work.
So he basically says the files are already in the Digitizing Made Easy group.
Okay, so the files are already in the Digitizing Made Easy group, and they're
group.
the Facebook
Sorry,
group.
Embroidery Legacy.
Okay.
And they're already up there. So
Okay.
Yep.
So they are up there. They're ready to go for you, and I hope you run this design. I hope you enjoy it. I know people have used this one and other things. I had this idea earlier in the week, and then I saw a whole bunch of people posting Keep Calm, but I think we're the only ones who have actually made a design with it, kind of live, and spelled correctly, and put it up for you guys to sew out on your actual machines. So that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, we do have a lot of exciting stuff coming in the future. Obviously, right now we're living in a virtual world. We don't have any plans to do any live events. I don't think many people do at this point. But if you enjoy our education and our edutainment, that we're going to do our best to have lots of fun stuff out there for you guys to do.
So if you, again, just want to reiterate, in the Digitizing Made Easy group,
Okay.
they can go in, they just need to select their machine file format.
Okay, can you come a little closer? You don't have to come into the camera, Jennifer. Jennifer, I am, someday I'm going to trick my wife into coming. No, you can come around this way a little bit so they can actually, and I'll move the mic right over here so that, there you go. So you can get close. You're
so
not
the
in
word from James is,
You can get a little closer, Jen.
you can go to the Digitizing Made Easy group and select your machine file format. And I believe the pictures will state Embroidery Legacy is the file type you're looking for. Again, so just select your machine file format from the Digitizing Made Easy group.
So in the Digitizing Made Easy group, the files are all there. Select your file format, and it's there for you to download. I think I covered absolutely every flavor for every machine format out there. If there's one that you don't see, let me know, and I'll convert it and put it up there for you. Did we have, and we have a call coming in. Sorry for the delay. James is calling in remotely. Oh, I might actually get to take a call live on Facebook. Okay.
Apparently I'm mixed up.
Okay.
So
Hello, James. How are you?
Hey, everybody.
Oh,
Just wanted to let you know that you can find the file
well, I don't think they can hear you.
section
Okay, so you can find the file formats in the file section
of our Digitizing Made Easy group.
of our Digitizing Made Easy group.
And please share your pictures with the hashtag Embroidery Legacy.
And please share your pictures with the hashtag Embroidery Legacy. That was James speaking, not me. So usually James has been with me for all of these. Are we done, James? Can I put you down? Okay, yeah, I got the.
adjust.
Yes,
Okay.
these go a lot smoother. Just so you know, when we do our next virtual Digitizer's Dream workshop, God willing, things will have settled down a little bit, and we are going to all be together for that one, because the first Digitizer's Dream workshop, it was, for those of you who don't know, it was actually a 3-weekend series with a whole bunch of interactive lessons. It went over incredibly well. I think that we had hardly any negative comments on it, but I think it was the best way that we've ever taught digitizing in a virtual and hands-on experience. So tell your friends about that one if you did not get a chance to participate. Did we have any questions?
We do have some,
okay.
yes.
Jennifer is going to get closer here so that I don't have to repeat myself. Oh, I'm getting
You
dirty
repeat
looks.
yourself enough already.
Okay.
Okay, somebody's saying, could you do that with Mylar?
Could you do that with Mylar? The answer is yes. If you were going to do that with Mylar, what you would do is actually repeat the wording. After I made the word "and" smaller, I repeated it twice and made it two different colors. I would actually do it 3 times. And what I would do is the very first color, when I broke it apart, I would make it a single run, because I'd lay my Mylar down, it would do a single run stitch around each of the letters, and then it would do all of the loose fills with the sort of stem stitch going around, and it would look perfect on Mylar as well.
Somebody's asking, could they make this smaller?
Could you make this smaller? If you do have the Hatch software, meaning a Wilcom platform, then I do provide the EMB file is one of the download files, and it will download and resize pretty much perfectly in Hatch. If you want to try to resize the PES file or a machine file format in another program, it probably will resize, but you will have limitations based on the resizing.
Somebody's asking about the webinar.
Yes.
Does it expire or is it in the classroom?
The actual webinar is set up to be like a live class that we would teach at Sewing and Stitchery Expo. So the idea is it is a class that you will attend. If you aren't able to make the class, we are going to put all of the, video, the 3 hours, into your classroom, but it will only be there for a 1 week period for you to watch. The designs are yours, the tutorials are yours, but we are putting it there for 1 week. And part of the reason is we do actually stream our videos professionally, and when we did the virtual dream course, I really don't want to tell you how much my bill was for streaming. It was out of this world because of all the streaming. Another next question?
Yep. June was asking, is the webinar based in Hatch because she's a Mac user and it's not, she's just looking to see if
Yes,
it's
the
there.
webinar is actually not software specific. I probably won't be bringing up a software program at all. Usually when I give that class, the exact same class in a event setting, it is basically on different embroidery techniques. So it is not software specific. The designs that I give you to run at home are in all of the file formats for every machine type.
Somebody was asking which software you're using right now?
The software that I use is the Hatch software. If you guys want to download a free trial or demo, we have one on our site, Digitizing Made Easy. If you go through our site and just click through there, then we will automatically send you out some bonus education. We are an official Hatch reseller. There's other people that sell Hatch. The difference is we give you free stuff even with the trial. If you purchase from us, it's the same price, but we give you free goodies as well.
Okay,
Any other questions?
questions?
Any other questions, guys?
Something that maybe I missed?
Yeah, anything that Jennifer missed? I know this was a pretty short Facebook Live, but
Somebody was asking if they could use it for Digitizer MBX5. Karen was saying that she uses it for both, so it shouldn't be a problem.
shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. Well, MBX5 I think is the new Janome software. Janome did recently change in the US. They've changed software developers, but I know that if you are in Europe, they are still using a Wilcom platform. So yes, it'll work.
Okay, and again, the date for the webinar was April 4th.
Yes, the date for the webinar, just so you know, it's Fun Effects and Embroidery Basics. So you're getting two in there for one, and that is April 4th. And it is a Saturday. For, I guess, some of you in Australia, it might be the Sunday, I guess, the day ahead. But it is 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you sign up, you'll choose at the time that you sign up which time zone you want. If you want to change it after the fact, we'll have to change it manually for you.
And we've had a few people ask what the name of the font is that you're using.
The font that I was using, actually, I'll just switch really quickly here. I don't think it'll even change the screen. The font that I was using is It's called Block Jock 6mm FF. So Block Jock 6mm FF. And the FF always stands for a flexi fill. Keeping in mind that most times for a C, the letters turn, or the stitch angle turns with the C. The difference with the FF files, if you ever see that extension on the designs that I've digitized, is everything goes one direction, which makes it really good to put pattern fills, motif fills, flex or mylar, anything like that. You don't have to change anything.
Maybe those who are watching towards the end, they're asking if it's going to be available for them to just review the beginning of this.
Yes, we will put this up for replay, so this will be going,
It'll
right?
stay on the Facebook page.
Yep, on the Facebook page. This will be up for replay. So again, share this with your friends if you found it interesting. Of course, there's a free design, so the good old thing, keep calm and embroider on. So share this with as many people as you want. I want to see a whole bunch of people keeping calm and embroidering on. So.
Yeah. And somebody was just asking, could the ESA fonts be used with the Digitizer MBX? I think we had said that, yes.
As long as it is the Wilcom version of the software, yes, it can actually be used. Yes. Our ESA fonts will work with the commercial Wilcom platform, the E-Series, the Janome newest platforms that are Wilcom based, and the Hatch software program as well.
Okay, so a few people say that they're having or had difficulties with hearing on and off, but I think most people it was fine. So if they just want to listen to it on the replay,
Yeah.
it could be their internet that's coming
Yeah,
in and out.
hopefully if you did have problems listening to the audio on this, it might have been your side. I know I'm so happy we have fiber here and it's very high speed, so I think we're okay on our side. And if you do want to watch this again, the replay will be available on our Facebook group. Awesome. So I won't, unless there's any other questions, but I won't take up any more of your time, guys. I know these are very trying times, and I appreciate your taking the time to spend this hour with us. God bless, stay safe, and I think it is wise for us to all obviously stay kind of in quarantine, limit our contact, and let's just get through this as positive as we all possibly can. So.
Yeah, and always open for suggestions.
Yep, and always open for suggestions. We are a small family-owned business, and I actually do love you guys. I mean, you're our customers, and businesses are only as good as their customers. So we do appreciate you, and we are praying for all of you. So I think we're good.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you, and we'll talk to you soon.